In this video, we're going to do a quick walkthrough of how to submit your declaration for the Toronto Vacant Home Tax for the 2024 tax year. In addition to that, I'll show you where you need to go to determine what your property's occupancy status was in 2024. And if your property was vacant, I'll show you where you can go to see if you're eligible for an exemption from paying the tax. We'll also take a quick look at the deadline for submitting your declaration, and probably most importantly for those people who have to pay the tax, we'll take a look at how much that tax is going to be. And yes, there was a significant increase this year in how much you're going to have to pay, so you want to stick around for that bit of info. If you're new here, my name is Jason Bondy-Sawyer with the Bondy-Sawyer Real Estate Team in the city of Toronto. I've been helping buyers and sellers make smart real estate moves since 2006, and I make educational real estate videos like this one here to help others as well. If you're thinking of making a move, you can book a call with me using that first link down in the description. If you haven't already, subscribe to the channel and like this video so that you see more of our videos in the future. Okay, let's get into it. So the first thing that you're going to want to do is go to the city's website and find the page dedicated to the vacant home tax. And don't worry, I'll include a link to this page down in the description. And this website here is going to be your best friend as you go through this process. It's the hub. All the information that you need is here and all the links as well. So you can see near the top of the page there, a very important piece of information. Declare your property's 2024 occupancy status by April 30th, 2025. So that is the deadline. So as you scroll down the page, you can see that there are different areas here. How to declare is at the top. We're going to skip that for now because I think it's more important that you first determine the occupancy status of your property. So you click that on and you can see there's a table here. On the left, you have the different types of occupancy status. In the center, you have the description. And then over here on the right, you have whether or not the property is subject to a tax. Now, I'm not going to read through these in full. You should definitely do that, but I'll just quickly go over the occupancy statuses here. So number one there, principal residence of homeowner. Below that, occupied by someone other than the owner. Vacant with eligible exemption. And then at the bottom, vacant. And you can see under subject to tax, the only one here that is subject to the tax are properties that are deemed vacant. Now below that, there's another section here for other residency situations. So be sure to take a quick look through that to make sure that none of those apply. And then down here, you can see there's actually an area where some properties are not required to declare. So make sure you give that a read through as well. Now, if your property is considered vacant in 2024, you're really going to want to make sure that you take a look at this section here because this goes over the eligible exemptions for vacant properties. So it says here, a vacant property must be declared but may be exempt from the tax if one of the following criteria is met. Again, I'm not going to read through all of these, but I'll just quickly go over the eligible exemptions. So death of a registered owner, principal resident is in care, repairs or renovations, transfer of legal ownership, occupancy for full-time employment, court order, vacant new inventory, secondary residence for medical reasons. And then over here on the right, you're going to see the supporting documentation that you're going to be required to submit if you are making a claim for eligible exemption. And below that is another section here for change of ownership. So this is going to apply to anyone who has sold a home. And you can see there's a few scenarios there. Scenario A, the property sold within the taxation year being declared. So in this case, if you sold your property in 2024, Scenario B, the property is sold after the taxation year. So if you've sold in 2025, but we're looking back at the 2024 tax year. And you can see here, it's really important that you assess which one of those scenarios you are and who's responsible for making the declaration. Because it says here, if no declaration is made for the property will be deemed vacant and subject to the tax. The vacant home tax forms a lien on the property and the purchaser will be held responsible for the payment of the tax. And then below that, there's a section here on power of sale. So after you've gone through all of that, and if you determine that you do indeed have to pay the tax, you're going to go down to this next section here, paying the tax. So you can see it says properties issued a tax bill for the 2022 and 2023 taxation years were taxed 1% of the property's current value assessment. Beginning with the 2024 taxation year, the tax rate will increase to 3% of the current value assessment. So the tax this year has gone up 300%. If you had $1 million property in 2022 or 2023, you were paying $10,000 in tax. In 2024, that's going up to $30,000. So it is definitely a significant jump. And as you read further down that page, you can see there's more information there about when and how to pay that tax. So you do have a few options, and you can see there's information there about late payments and fees as well. Okay, so now that you've gone through all of that, you're finally ready to submit your declaration. So back at the top of the page here, there's a drop-down menu, how to declare, and you can see you actually have a few options. Online, so that's the online portal, which we're gonna walk through here in a second. By phone, although that's for occupied properties only, and then in person. And if you click on that link there, you're gonna be shown all the different locations that you can go to and the hours that those locations are operating. So let's click into the online portal. So you can see there, before you begin, you have to have a few things ready before you can complete your declaration. Number one, you need your customer number. And number two, the assessment roll number or address for the property. Now you can find these on your property tax bill or statement, or the vacant home tax notice that you would have received in the mail in the second half of 2024. And then if your property was deemed vacant and you think that you are eligible for an exemption, you're going to need to also include any supporting documentation that the city requires. And just a note here, if you own multiple properties, a separate declaration must be submitted for each one. Okay, so you're just going to click this link down at the bottom and hit proceed. And this is where you're going to enter your customer number and your assessment roll number or your address. You'll be brought to this page here where you are either going to declare as the registered owner or as a representative of the registered owner. You're required to enter your phone number and then email address, which is optional. And I highly recommend that you do put in your email address so that you get a notification from the city once you have completed the process. And then you're brought to this page here where you declare the occupancy status. So did the owner live at the property? Yes or no? And then you're brought to this page here where you can review everything before submitting that declaration. And you can see at the bottom here, very important, I declare that the property status identified and all information provided are true and accurate. I understand that I may be asked to provide further information and evidence to support my declaration at a later date, and that failing to do so, providing a false declaration or false information can result in fines of up to $10,000 upon conviction. So just check off, I have read and agreed to the above statements, and then submit your declaration. And then the final page here with a confirmation that your declaration has been submitted, and most importantly, the declaration results. So whether or not you are going to be charged the vacant home tax. And you're given the option to print or save this document, and make sure you do that so that you have a record of your own on file. All right, so that's it. As you can see, it's a relatively quick and painless process. You just want to make sure you go through all those initial steps before actually submitting your declaration. So correctly assessing what the occupancy status was of your property in 2024. If it was vacant, correctly assessing whether or not you're eligible for one of those exemptions, and also pay attention to whether or not there was a change of ownership as well. Over here are a couple of other videos that I think you might want to take a look at, and over here is a link to subscribe to this channel. That's it for now, and I'll see you next time.